Morning, everyone. What I'm doing today is working on a big bucket of Aquascicla junk I have. Here's a basic view of it. Today's video, I'm just going to do whatever. I go through a lot of this stuff. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. So I thought I'd just make a video, basically show you. This is rock that I find about maybe a quarter mile from my house. I was working on it earlier this morning, and apparently my game's a little off today, but that's okay. Yeah. Sometimes it's got some pretty cool designs in it, and then sometimes it looks like here's a neat piece. I'm saving this one. It's just about finished. All I gotta do is remove this hump up top here, and if this one works out well, I'm gonna clean it up real nice, and then this one will be haft it to a stick. And then I'm going to make a decoration for my living room. Here's what I was working on earlier. A little bit more work. This one will be pretty decent. I gotta set things aside here because I keep forgetting where I'm putting stuff. I got quite the junk pile at my feet right now. I went off to the post office this morning, deliver a package up to Maine. So it should be there by Thursday, Mr. Greenbird. There's a bunch of this stuff in there. If you ever want more, just give me a shout. It's fun when you're just bored of Obsidian or whatever else you're working. Just sit back and suck in the atmosphere of the morning with a cup of coffee and try your skills. It's very cold here this morning in Pennsylvania. Very cold. I believe it's the 14th of May. And I think winter's here. Sure feels like winter. Got my car back from the body shop yesterday. It's all waxed up. Windows are clean. Interior's all vacuumed up and shiny, and I'm confused. I think they gave me the wrong car. Yeah. Excuse me. There's another one I'm going to give a try. Maybe a little too close there. Just taking a hammerstone, trying to make shapes out, seeing what's going to be lucky and what's not. This one's neat. Look at that. I've been noticing the prettier they are, the less likely I'll be able to do anything with. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to try to stick to this one. Hopefully this camera angle is a much better one. Once again, we're taped to a stool. And I blew my nose so you don't have to listen to my sniffles. Yeah. Going to make the video a little earlier, but it gets very noisy here when there's a house full of women. Very noisy. Especially when they're trying to find stuff. That's when the accusations fly. And of course, being the only man in the house, besides Lucas and Jojo, I have to take the brunt of it. Very unpredictable. Fun to monkey with, that's for sure. Sometimes you gotta get a little brutal with it. I've cooked this stuff in the oven around 350 degrees, I think it was, for about 4 or 5 hours. Really changes up the color on them, and seems to have made it a little easier to work, or I should say easier to go through, and it went through that stuff rather quickly. Creates quite a stink in the house, though. Try this end. Actually, I think I'm going to move on to the next one. There's a nice little chunk. Seem to have a little better luck with these. These are the big ones like that one there that I was just working. It really takes up a lot of time. All my checks are coming in the mail now for when we rented. Starting to get our security deposits back. So I'm making a collection plate so I can go online later and see what kind of new rock I can get. I have 2 more boxes of obsidian coming. And I'm just about out here. I got a couple of orders I have to make, special orders, and one of them is making pendants for a couple up in Canada. And another friend of mine on Facebook wants the same thing. These are pretty cool. Now, if you see on the back side here, didn't do much work, simply because that's the part that's going to lay against the chest. And we dulled it down pretty good. And that's pretty cool. And then I got a few arrowheads to make, a tomahawk, a couple arrows, and some other stuff. Can't think off the top of my head, but I keep taking pictures and putting them in my phone so I don't forget what I'm doing or where I'm going. Today I was supposed to meet up with one of the locals. He's been collecting artifacts since the late 70s, I believe. He used to live next door to my parents. And when I was about 18 years old, I remember him coming home. Always looked like he was in a big hurry. He'd grab a shovel and rake, buckets. And I often thought, what's he up to? Now I know. But sent me a message this morning, about maybe 2 hours before we were supposed to meet up. Kind of hoping there's a chance he might let me film while I'm there, because he has quite the collection. And he's going to educate me on the local lithics and stuff, which is great. It's kind of what I've been looking forward to. He even said that he had some shirts and some other different types of lithics for me, which Onondaga was one of them. I'm really looking forward to that. Onondaga, I remember upstate New York, late 90s I believe it was. It was one of the reservations I used to drive by. Actually, there's a story in the family. My third great-grandfather, when the United States government was pushing the Indians, they had to go back to reservations. And the Six Nations up north, well, they created their own government, so they had their own property and all. But my third great-grandfather decided to go to Onondaga, I would believe. That's where he went. I don't know many other places up there, but I know he went upstate New York. And they turned him away. I won't get into the history of it. It all started with William Penn's son, but anyway, he came back home and eventually just married into the family. But when I get the Onondaga, I'm going to kind of make something special in memory of my great-great-great-grandfather. And hopefully I don't mess it up. This is kind of neat. See, I can never get these super thin. Sometimes the material feels like flaky. It's a very unpredictable stone. Sometimes, well, matter of fact, I was working on a piece earlier, and through the center there was like a spongy feel to it. This is the piece here. But like this part up here, this top part, it's not spongy, but it's more spongy than the rest of it. So this is about where they go, what I do with them. And then from here I'll pressure flake it by hand and hope for the best. Alright, on to the next one. Here's one. This is pretty cool. This might be the same situation. The center here could be spongy. Sometimes I'll spall them out in the fields if they're big enough. Throw them in the bucket. I try to, for the most part, I don't try to get the biggest chunks I can find unless we plan on tumbling them. You can find usually like large nodules, and I'd say probably up to about 70 pounds sometimes. And they're fun to break into. I work them down with a hammer. Did it pretty much all winter. There was days I'd be over there, it was like 20 degrees out. You don't stay long when it's 20 degrees, that's for sure. Okay. Little by little. Probably went through about 25 pieces already today. Yeah, see? Now we're smaller, but that might have been a flaw in the material as well. Like I said, highly unpredictable. I don't want to get discouraged if it doesn't work, because it's just a short trip over, fill the bucket up, come back, and start all over. Sometimes sometimes I'll find them with little spider cocoons in them. Especially now, probably they're not willing to come out until they know it's going to be safe enough or warm enough. And when I find them with the spider cocoons, I set them aside until they hatch, or whatever it is they do. For all I know, that's probably where Spanky came from. I had one piece I set aside with a spider cocoon on it. I patiently waited until he came out. One day he strutted on across the floor. I had to turn him around, send him in the right direction. Because at the time I was still in a rental unit. And then pounded into the rock when I knew it was good. Sadly, it shattered into many pieces. Nothing even workable. And like I said earlier, I'm a little off my game today. I'm just tired. Yesterday I came home from work after a 12-hour shift. I left work about 5 in the morning. Got here about 6. Had a cup of coffee, fed the kitty cats. Hung out in the computer till everybody in the house woke up. And I was at it till about 9 o'clock last night. Something I should stop doing. Well, this is going to be a nice piece if I can make it work. I don't think you can see the colors at home, but some pretty cool designs. This one's a little bit like Jasper. A little bit like Jasper on this side here. And then over here it's looks a little bit more like petrified coral. And sometimes you run into a very, very hard material. Usually it's pinkish purple. That's when it gets deadly for the point. Try zigzagging to see if that helps. But like I said there, Mr. Greenbird, if you ever want more, you're more than welcome. I'll gladly send you some. And it'll always be free of charge. And if you can make something, fantastic. That's what I'm talking about. Beautiful, ain't it? Gotta sneak up on it. Surprise, fool. The guy up at the body shop yesterday when I picked my car up, I had to go back in. For some reason the battery was dead. And it was a young fella, I think he was about 25, come out, and he looks at me, he says something wrong, and I was like, I'm just completely amazed at the fact that you guys cleaned the interior out. And he goes, yeah. And he goes, question. And he says, me and the guys were curious. There was stone everywhere. It was chips from flint knapping. And I told him, I said, I do it down at work in the car. I usually get there like an hour and a half early, and all the little flakes and stuff, I push them off onto the floor. Bet you that sounded good when it went up the vacuum cleaner. I call that car the rock buggy. I don't do it with my old Pontiac. Well, I do, but I take the chips and I put them into, I take milk jugs and I cut them in half, or water jugs, gallon jugs. And then I keep stuff in them. Like tools and stuff. And then sometimes I'll clean up the floor. I have a pile of junk or something. Something that's worthwhile working on. And that's what I do before I go into work. And like I said, that must have been a hell of a sound when it went up their vacuum cleaner. Okay. I don't know if you can see that at home. Red and yellow in there. I come across that quite a bit. This edge here is proving to be very difficult, so I'm going to probably have to get a little bit more abusive. This is how the rest of my day is going to be. It's starting to get a little chilly here in the basement. You can probably hear the heater running in the background, but heats the upstairs. I was about ready to break thermals out this morning. Yeah, see, this stuff here is a little rough, this edge. But keep monkeying with it, and you can get at it. It doesn't look spongy, so that's a good thing. I want to start working on this part here. A little funny story. My granddaughter, she'll be 3 soon in August, and she's been watching a show called Peppa Pig. I believe that's the way it's said. I'm familiar with it. I don't watch it myself, simply because my girls are growing up. I used to watch cartoons and stuff with them a lot. Bananas in Pajamas. That was my oldest daughter's favorite. Anyway, when she says no, she says it with a British accent, and it's driving everybody in the house insane except me. I think it's funny. Because she says it, no. Oh, look at that. A little red dot in here. That's pretty cool. All right, now let's try to start moving that step out. Tried making a few tools yesterday, but I had no luck whatsoever, so I had to go out and get some more stuff. The tool I sent you, Josh, that's the second tool that I made for myself. I just wanted to make sure that you got a tool that I know will work. I made a new one yesterday and nothing was going together right. Hammering on it and what have you. So this one here is actually my old one. I just made a new tip for it. This here is the new one. As you can see, I wanted to put enough rod in it to keep it down, you know, about here for pounding on it. I put a tip on this end. So I'll be using this one sooner or later. I actually started using this one a little bit, but there's our progress. Pretty neat. I got a couple pieces of Flint Ridge that I want to work on today too. Small pieces, but since I'm in the mood to take my time and work on this, I'm going to try to monkey with this a little bit later on. Stuff is so cool. It's actually on my wish list. And Buffalo River. Love that stuff too. I have a piece of Georgetown here in my junk pile. I like that stuff too. And it is a piece of junk because I don't know how far I'm going to get with it. This hump here is a little touchy. I got that from another gentleman here in Pennsylvania. He has his own Etsy, so I bought a 2-pound box of flakes. And Georgetown was one of the flakes that came in it. I made a nice couple of points and sold them. And then, like I say, every so often I'll go through the junk heap and then I'll find stuff. And I found that piece, so I'll finagle with that too a little bit. Like this, another chip of Flint Ridge. Just keep monkeying with it, Here's something for you. Floor tile. Oh yeah. I put floor tile in that box for you too, Josh. So don't go throwing it away. Pieces like this. It's got some neat colors inside. This stuff will work good with your stick. It'll eat the stick up pretty good though. But it's just for hits and giggles. Notice how I didn't say the nasty word? Gotta keep it kid friendly. Yeah. I'll proof watch my videos on television, and my granddaughter thinks that's funny. She gets all excited. Ooh, look, it's Pap-Pap, it's Pap-Pap. New. Okay. Was unsuccessful in removing the step. is cool though. Look at that. The way the white and the red. Okay, I'm gonna set that one aside and try something else here. All right, this one's a mystery rock. This is Aqua Shikla. And from what I can see, the interior looks brownish white. And yes, you can work chunks. See, there's your unpredictability. Okay, now we got some kind of junk going up through there. So I think I'll put that in the junk pile and move on to the next one. Okay. Stretch the legs a little. Oh, arthritis is a bitch. Oh, sorry. Arthritis is a problem. Give you a good look at that. This will also be a mystery rock. But look at that. Isn't that fun? Slowly work your way in. Okay, I believe we got petrified coral. There's a line in there, right there. So right here where I hit. Yep, that's it. Oh, that's a pretty color. A little chip there. It's starting to get purple. That's where it gets scary. Off my game. Oh yeah, that's purple. White. Just afraid to hit my fingers. They took quite the beating yesterday. Actually, it looks like that line goes all the way through. Yep, this one's going to be a dud. And then again, maybe not. I had one day, had a line in it, so I was like, all right, well, I'll just beat the snot out of it until it breaks. And I actually kept continuing to work on it, beating on it, and it just didn't fail. I ended up making a real nice triangular point out of it. Guys were all looking at it because it had a nice little lightning rod going through it, quartz. As soon as they see that sparkly stuff, it don't last long. Yeah, it is pretty neat looking though. Okay. Time to kill the video. Today I'm going to upload it right from my computer. It'll be the first for me. Computer is new, but it's very slow. I don't know what the deal is with it. Very, very slow. And we have a good internet connection. But I'm hoping it'll be a much better experience than loading them from the phone because I sit up all night doing that. Nice. Working chunks like this is fun. You really take your time. You can get some excellent practice out of it. Felt that shot breeze right across the top of my fingertip, or finger back here. I have to put the gloves on. When your game's off, man, the game's off. You don't want to hurt yourself. Alright, here's where it's getting a little tough. Change angle. Nope, that didn't help. Alright, move on. Okay, here we zigzag. Just popped a little pocket right in there. So now we're going to start at another place and work around to it. Right along the borderline of the crack there. No frustrations today. Yesterday, when I picked my car up from the body shop on the way home, there's a spot that I like to go in Lehigh, and it's right on the way home. Pulled in there only to do a big U-turn and come around because I forgot I had to come home and wait for the guys to bring my new stove. Well, I got a weekend coming up, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to head into the Lehigh, take video clips and stuff, see what changed from last year. I try not to go down there in the winter time. Too many places to get lost or washed away. And Stony Ridge across the road, the Kittatinny Ridge, has been calling my name. Maybe one day I'll film from up there. Show you the plethora we have of beautiful birds around here as well. Yeah, that's a nice shot. Darn it. Darn it all the heck. Yeah. Piece is proving to be pretty tough. Shame it's bland. Actually, give me a second. If I can do this without hurting myself. Sorry about that. Let's get these back in. But you can hear me when I talk. And of course I had to set that piece down and forgot where I put it. Oh, there it is. Anyway, this is the piece I was just working on. Here's the same material. Isn't that pretty? Look how thin. This is going to be hafted onto a special made arrow that will be going out to a friend at the White Earth Reservation, Minnesota, I think. It's a very good friend of mine. I met online. He helped me through a lot of my depression stages with his gifts and all. So he asked for an arrow, and this is the very tip that will be getting hafted. So he'll probably see this by the end of summer. At least I'm hoping. Out of all the things I'll be making, this will be the most special. And then I'm going to get Wampa in return. I'm not sure what Wampa is. I don't know if it's the same as Wope. But I'm looking forward to Wampa. Yeah. And Johnny, if you're watching, don't forget, I love sweetgrass. Yeah, it's a really nice point. I almost hate to give it away, but like I said, it's special. Coffee. Yum. All right. I hear my cats. All the girls in the house left to go shopping. He'll come out from underneath the blankets and find stuff to play with. And then the baby gets blamed for it. Yeah. Okay. 42.27. All right, I'm going to take a couple more shots with the stick here. And then end the video. Maybe I'll make another video yet today. Feeling the mood. I keep feeling this lifting, but there's nothing coming off. That was not good. Slowly working the top and bottom off. Time to break out the point. I'm going to be making another tool soon. As soon as I find rod a little thicker than this. That way I can actually bring bigger pieces home. But this stick works great for what I'm doing here. I tried making one with wood, and it doesn't seem to... Yeah, I was really abusing that one. When I started using this, you can actually feel the difference in the power. But I seriously believe I could use something bigger as far as the rod goes. See, this is 3/8, so if I'd step up to maybe like a 1/2 inch and then just keep making a tip at the end, then I'd get something bigger, a little bit more weight to it. I think we'd be in the game. All I really do apologize about the sniffles. Just wish summer would come. Oh, Mr. Abrader, where are you? Once I get organized, this won't happen anymore either. And I got some beautiful blue glass sitting in front of me that's been calling my name too. Isn't that pretty? Some aqua glass down there, some green glass. Let's see. Well, there's a date on it, but I can't read it. December. Trade. Barn, December. Ebby. Eco. Chemical Company. Oh no. It's going to make a nice point if I can get something out of it. Maybe two. And then I got a bunch of Vicks Vapor Rub bottles down there in front of me. Old Budweiser quart. Some Sprite, some 7-Up. All broken stuff. Well, except for the Vicks Vapor Rubs, but they're not collectible anyway, as far as I know. They might be. Stop me. If they are. There's something for you to view, Josh. Sometimes if you put the stick sideways, you'll get better shots out of it too. Sometimes you have to, sometimes you don't. Keep that in mind. I think my furnace is about ready to kick in. Look at that. Nice. I'll post this one on Facebook later if it turns out good. All right. Another pretty piece. This one's almost pure jasper the way it looks. Place that I get a lot of this stuff out of, there's a very large pit that was dug a long time ago. Won't talk much about that. But sometimes you can walk right over to it and you can scoop up chips and just throw them right in a bucket. And then the pine trees nearby, that's where you find the real bright red, yellow and blue stuff. It's really nice for tumbling. I just got some yesterday. Some tumbled stuff. Decorating jars and stuff with. If you find this video boring, please let me know. I'll try to do better. Then I'm going to end it. Just figured I'd give you as a idea. Basically sit down and chit chat with you for the morning. Material's getting a little softer in the center now. All right, folks. Have a great day. Thanks for hanging out. and happy wasp day.